Welcome back, my little graveyard ghosts. It's always a pleasure to see you return. And if you did, take a second to subscribe and claim your tombstone in the graveyard and turn on all notifications to be summoned for new ritual pastas. Now, let's begin tonight's story. I did not think I would come to regret what I did that night, but I do. It all started as a game of hide and seek in the local graveyard when I was 12. I'm 26 now, and it still follows me. I was hiding behind one of the gravestones when I heard someone running behind me. At first, I thought it was one of my friends, changing hiding spots maybe. I looked over my shoulder to try to identify who it was, but I saw nothing. No silhouette, not even a shadow. I shrugged and turned back around, waiting to hear the guy who was in charge of finding us come my way. That's when I realized that the whole place was, as ironic as it sounds, silent as a grave. There was no wind, the crickets had stopped making noise, and the occasional hooting of an owl had also disappeared completely. I had this gut feeling that something was not right, but I decided to wait. I didn't want to chicken out and have the others laugh at my paranoid ass. After all, the whole point of us choosing the graveyard as a playground was to get a rush. So everything was working according to plan, right? Wrong. Not even a couple of minutes later, I heard the steps again and the rustling of dry leaves behind me. But once again, even though I turned my neck so fast I got whiplash, I saw nothing. That's it, I said to myself, I'm out. However, just as I was ready to call quits and call for my buddies to end the game, I heard it loud and clear. I found you! It was my friend's voice. He had found one of the girls and was trying to convince her to disclose the location for the rest of us. They were not far from me, but as I peeked from behind the tombstone, I could not spot them. My anxiety went down a little, hearing them chuckle. Maybe I was just paranoid after all. Not even a minute after I thought that, my heart sank deep into the abyss. I felt a hand grabbing my shoulder. I froze. It could not have been my friend. I would have been able to hear him had it been him. And nevertheless, what followed chilled me to the bone even more. I found you! It was my friend's voice. But somehow it wasn't. It sounded wrong, like a static recording of the exact way he had said that moments earlier. I could hear a raspy breathing right in the back of my neck. Whatever it was waiting for me to turn around. I found you! It stated again, this time right into my ear. My blood ran cold, and somehow I managed to snap out of it and look back over my shoulder to see it. I wish I hadn't. It was tall. Stupid tall, and hunched over, with that grotesque face just inches away from mine. It dug its black claws into my shoulder and snarled when our eyes finally met. I whimpered in pain. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. My horrified gaze was fixated on that black, deformed face. It had no lips, and a set of razor-sharp teeth. The skin was black and stretched over its bones, black and rubbery, and it looked mummified. It tilted its head to the side and said again, "I found you." This time it sounded like its voice was breaking, like it was beginning to crack. The voice was deep and raspy, and it sounded like it was struggling to speak. Those white, sunken eyes continued to stare into my soul, unblinking, like it was waiting for me to do something, to try to escape, to run, to scream for help. But I was frozen in place. I felt tears forming in my eyes, and I was ready to meet my end. That's when I heard my name called and steps coming towards me. A choir of voices calling for me. It was my friend. I had no idea how long I was stuck in that staring game with this creature, but it broke eye contact upon hearing the voices and raised its head as if trying to get a whiff of who was coming our way. It let out a deep growl and threw me to the ground. I must have hit my head on the gravestone, as I cannot remember what happened afterwards. I can only recall waking up to a bright light shining into my eyes. I was getting checked up on a hospital bed, while my mom, a couple of nurses, and 3 of my friends all gathered around me. I got sent home soon after, as they decided I was fit to leave after getting stitched up and prescribed antibiotics for the wounds in my shoulder. I tried telling my mom how I got the wounds, but she was too busy scolding me for playing in the graveyard late at night in complete darkness, and ruled out my story as nonsense and an overactive imagination, of course. But I know what I saw. I still have the scars, and I wish it was over that night, but it's not. That same night, I woke up to the sound of tapping on my window. I tried swallowing the knot in my throat, to no avail. That same disturbing gut feeling had returned. I simply knew it was the same thing. It was it. I prayed for the tapping to go away, but it got more and more aggressive every 5 minutes or so. "Look at me." It struggled to speak, and I shut my eyes tight, trying to ignore it, hoping it would go away. Every night it comes to me. Every night it tormented me for over 14 years now. I don't know how to make it go away, and I seem to be the only one who can see it. I've been prescribed sleep medication when I was 18, but I've come to realize it's not working anymore. The banging on the window keeps me up most nights. If it's not the thing that gets me, exhaustion soon will.